You're waking in a shock as someone throws water across your face. You splutter, cough, and struggle, realizing quickly that you're still in Geraint's hall, but that you're tied to a chair. Fucking hell, why is my character so fucking stupid? Your head pounds and your stomach churns. The Saxon in front of you reaches out and cups your chin in his hand, turning your head, examining you. He's big, his square face seamed, his braid and beard shot with silver streaks amongst flame red. There are sword cuts on his cheeks, and the hand that grips you is powerful. He sees that you're awake, and gives a deep-throated chuckle. Words follow, amused, sneering words barked in the Saxon tongue. They mean nothing to you, but other voices around the room laugh along with the speaker. The world comes into focus. There is Geraint with a handful of his men, but the other faces around the room are Saxon. "It is as I promised, Lord Cedric," says Geraint. "Here is Arthur of Gwynedd," he's pointing at Kai. "This, then, is Cedric of Wessex, Cynric's father." "Sa, this is well," says Cedric. "Have I not delivered what I promised, Lord?" says Geraint. "You have. This is good. The first step for us to be allies," says Cedric. "There were men behind us on the road. I think our other guest approaches." He steps up to Kai. "Arthur of Gwynedd. So, they tell me you're famed amongst your people, that you are better at telling men what to do than doing it yourself. That, even so, you've brought promises of alliances to Gwynedd, a man without the courage to make harsh choices, indecisive, a slave to his old gods." He shakes his head. "What should we do with such a man? You have faced my son and lived, so there is some luck in you, at the least." "Do you know what your son is, Saxon?" rumbles Gawain. "Do you know what he's become?" "He is the best warrior of his age, and he is my best heir," snaps the old man, showing anger for the first time. "He is a monster," says Kai. Cedric waves a hand in dismissal. "Men die in war." "Aye, they die," Gawain barks, "but torn to pieces with tooth and claw? We're your son, Cedric of Wessex. He'll be your death as much as ours. The sentence is cut off by Cedric's fist, blotting Gawain's nose. The silence is broken by a new voice. "My lord Cedric, my lord Geraint, you are well, I hope." It is a tall man, with salt and pepper hair, lean, wearing plain yet well-made gear. His only adornments are a silver ring around his left arm, likewise a torque at his neck that bears 2 birds of black stone. A handful of men are at his back, the dust of travel still on them. The black birds give you his name, Gorwas of Kurnow, king of the tip of land to the far south and west of the island of Britain. Ulfr's bitterest enemy, Gwyned's hated foe. You are amongst wolves here. The only question is, who will rip you to pieces first? "Gorwas," King Geraint's voice drips servility. "I am pleased beyond measures. This is King Cedric of Wessex." The Saxon and the King of Kurnow clasp forearms, eyes on each other, calculating, measuring. They are of a height, and although Cedric is far more well-built, the other is one of those who draws eyes to him. "So you are a king now, rather than simply the leader of a war band," says Gorwas. "That is a thing, is it not?" "I am old, and I begin to have thoughts of setting roots down, and I move too slowly in my dotage," says Cedric. "Alas, too slowly to escape the hangers of titles," he smiles. "Old, perhaps, but daughter? Never," says Gorwas. He, too, smiles, but there is no humor in it. "And this is Arthur of Gwynedd." King Geraint is crowing now. "No, it is not," says Gorwas. I can assure you," Gorwas gestures to you, "that man there is Arthur of Gwynedd. I will pay you a 10 weight of gold if I am wrong. Is it not so?" he addresses you. There is no point in dissembling. It is. "But," Cedric gives a hearty laugh. "Ah, Geraint, so much for your spies. I assure you that This is a man whom we... Gorwas speaks truth. That is Arthur, spits a voice. Cynric, lounging in the doorway, staring knives at you. You see Kai's wince of recognition. I was just wondering what could make this worse, he mutters. This is my son, says Cedric, pride in his voice. Why does he still live, father? Cynric glowers at you. Why do any of them live? A ransom? Faugh! We should slice their throats and have done. What use have they for us? Perhaps none, says King Gorwas. Indeed, perhaps we'll hang them from Juran's thorn trees. But I have questions for Arthur up Uther first of all. He sits down on the other side of the table from you. Cedric folds his arms and watches, a slight smile on his lips, indulgent. The grey-eyed Gorwas regards you coolly, watchful, studying you, as if weighing your words. Now tell me, son of Uther, it is said that Uther lies on the Isle of the Dead, and that men argue over his throne. Who then will be king of Gwynedd? I will. It will be Bedwyr. I don't know. I'll not answer questions. I don't know may seem like the best choice, but it might make me look like a fool. It will be Bedwyr. I think Cynric knows that Bedwyr will never be a king. I might show my pride. I will not answer your questions is the worst one of them all. So it's either I will or I don't know. I think at this point, I will. He holds your gaze, grey eyes assembling. Indeed. Tell me, what is that you seek in this fight, Arthur? Gwynedd is dying. The time of the Britons is passing. Why do you still fight for a cause that is so clearly lost? This feels like Ector's questioning of you during your lessons. It's as if Gorwas is testing you, but what it is he wants to hear. You've heard that he's a stiff-necked man, unbending and honorable. I'm waiting, he says. Why? Because I have taken an oath to do so. Or honestly, I enjoy the fight, the struggle, the challenge. Because someone must. The cause is not lost. I think that the cause is not lost. Is it not? Do you have cause to believe that, I wonder, or just blind faith? But Gwynedd is not your land, is it? You are not a Briton, not truly. You were brought up in Roman ways, in the way of Christ. In all honesty, I'm caught deeper in this than I ever intended. Or, I'm a Briton. These are my people. Religion has no bearing on this. I'm no Christian. I'll do all in my power to preserve the old ways. Or, this country has already begun to forget what it learned from Rome. If the Saxons win, we'll be back to savagery. I can help stop that. I'm a Briton. These are my people. Religion has no bearing on it. I think that this is the best option. I'm a Briton. I'm a Briton. These are my people. Religion has no bearing on it. Gorwas nods, slowly. So it is family and blood that keeps you here. What if there were a greater kingdom to be gained? Stability and peace through alliance with the Saxons. Why? Yes, I think an alliance may be the best hope for our people. Or, we couldn't trust the Saxons to keep peace. You've not seen what I've seen. They use dark magics. A partnership forged in peace, with treaties perhaps, accepting thraldom and the eradication of Briton ways? Never. I think this one. A partnership forged in peace with treaties, perhaps. Gorwas looks at Cedric. Admirable, wouldn't you say? Something the Saxon people would understand. Cedric's eyebrow twitches, but he says nothing, just watches you. Gorwas considers you for a moment. He stands suddenly. So, my decision is made. He claps his hand. Geraint looks at him puzzled. Decision? Cynric's head snaps round. He's heard something outside, metal on metal, and then Gorwas's men, who have quietly taken up station around the hall while the questioning has gone on, have swords in their hands. Saxons reach for weapons. 3 fall dead, throats cut. Others are at sword point. Joran's men look uncertain, helpless. "Oh, I'm sorry," says Gorwas. "I may not have been clear. I am here to talk of an alliance, Joran, Cedric, but not with you. I brought a few additional men to assure it. There is a knife in his hand. He slices your bonds with an easy movement. I will tear out your throat," hisses Cynric, then spits something in Saxon. Cedric's fist clench. Then he grits his teeth, lets out the Saxon curse, and shakes his head. "No, there's no profit in fighting. Not here, my son. We would gain nothing but death. You have made your choice, Gorwas of Kernow, and it's a poor one. I came here in good faith, and you are not my enemy. Not today. Do we have your leave to depart?" "Kill the bastard!" shouts Kai. "Don't let them leave. This might be our only chance. We can't face them. We haven't the strength here. They are more powerful than you think. As Cedric said, they come in good faith and they should be allowed to leave. I believe this is the best way." Gorwas looks at you with a slight smile. "Very well." He turns to Cedric. "Leave. You'll be unharmed. And, friend Joran, I know that this is your hall, but you'll not object to me borrowing it for a short time? Minutes only." Joran splutters for words while Cedric nods gravely and orders his men to gather the fallen. Cynric's fists are twitching, but Cedric stands in front of him and talks to him in low words. Cynric curses and storms off out of the building. Then Cedric turns. He stares down at the two of you. He makes no threatening move, but you're aware of the weight that this man carries in the world. This is not an enemy to be lightly made. We will see each other again, Arthur of Gwynedd, and Gorwas of Kernow. May that time be not long delayed. "I look forward to it," says Gorwas with a slight smile. He looks to Joran. "Perhaps you should show our guests out." Joran swallows, hesitates, and then follows the Saxons out of the door. Gawain rubs at his unbound wrists and shakes his head in bewilderment. Why? Why this trickery? Gorwas looks at you. "Because I wasn't sure," he says. "I wasn't sure about Arthur, and I wanted to meet him." "So you might have allied with Cedric?" you ask him. "No, I'm not Joran. They told me they were bringing you here, and I took the chance." "You have always hated Gwynedd. I remember the fighting, even when I was a boy. How can we believe you'd ally with us now? You remember, do you? But you don't know why? Or perhaps you never knew? It wasn't Gwynedd I hated, it was Uther, and you, or the idea of you." There's a blurring of moisture in his eyes. "Me? Igerna," says Gawain in realization. "She was your lover. I knew she came from the south, and I knew there'd been trouble, but not the detail. I remember her from when I was a little lad. Igerna, your mother, dead at your birth. My lover, yes, my wife. Uther stole her heart," says Gorwas. "You stole her life." There's silence. And then Gorwas looks away. "Damn, this is heavy. It was a long time ago. I hold no grudge towards you, and Uther is dead. But more than that, in your words, you've shown a wisdom and diplomacy that belies your age. I'm prepared to lend my coffers and strength of arms to our joint struggle. I think we can work together, but I'll expect actions to match those words when I bring Kernow's warriors to your banner." He clasps your hand. "You'd best be on the road, as should I be. There's much to do. But one thing before we part. What of Joran? I believe he might be persuaded to join our cause. He's now seen how quickly he can lose his power. He has warriors aplenty, but he's no brain to use them. He's proven himself to be a coward and a traitor. I don't want him to fight with us. We should work towards showing him that together our land has a chance. Or I don't give a damn about Joran, but we need his men. Perhaps he can be bought. We should work towards showing him that together our land has a chance." Achievement unlocked. Dumnonia support, Kernow support. Oh god, yes. It's starting to look a lot better. Agreed. I'll sit down with him before I leave, and we'll discuss the future. It may be that he can be talked around. You and I will talk again. I'll send messengers soon. I can let you have mounts. If I understand things are right, you need to be back in Gwynedd with all speed. Gorwas considers you for a moment and then nods with a slight smile. You have her eyes. Farewell, Arthur. The Veiled Isle. Morgan stands with her mother. And what will happen if he becomes king? I know you bear his child, a child out of wedlock. Do you see a future for the two of you? I don't know. Maybe. I think so. I'm sorry, my daughter, but anything between you, it cannot last. Why not? I have never told you the name of your father. It is Uther. Silence for a time, and then, I'm Arthur's sister? Half-sister. I never told Uther you had lived. Drawn breath. Why do you tell me now? So that you understand why you can never be together. If he found out, well, perhaps he could bury that secret, but he will need the kings of Christian lands on his side, much as that prospect displeases me, and one whiff of it and they will desert him. That doesn't explain why you're telling me now, why you've never done so before. The child must stay on the isle, daughter. He must not grow up in Arthur's court. He is far, far too important. A long silence this time. What have you seen? Nothing for certain, but I do know that Arthur's reign, if it comes to pass, will be a short-lived one, and yet it may be the saving of us all.